everybody, this is Grandmaster Damian Lemos for onlinechesslessons.net, and in this video I'm gonna analyze a game I played against Magnus Carlsen. As you know, he's the first ranked player nowadays, and this game was played when we were 13 years old back in 2003. So and this was played at the World Youth Under 14. By this time I was 2200 rating player, and Magnus he was pretty close to the Grandmaster title. So let's analyze this game. I played d4, and he played the King's Indian with knight to f6. I played knight to f3 first. I remember that I was trying to stop things like the Granfeld. That is why I didn't play c4. Well, I mean, here we have the Granfeld, but if we play knight to f3 first, after g6, you know, I can play c4, and then I can try playing some anti-Granfeld systems based on g3. And nowadays I still play this move order, but you know, because I played the g3 line against the King's Indian too. I like this, you know, I think it's a nice positional line against both King's Indian and Granfeld. So Magnus plays bishop to g7, and I play g3, the fianchetto. Black castles, and here we'll have a King's Indian. If he wants to play the Granfeld, he can play c6 plus d5, or he can also try castling, and then he can play d5 later. However, he plays d6, I castle here, and then black plays knight b d7. Against this fianchetto line, black has a lot of ways of playing here. For instance, he can try playing the Pano variation with knight c6 and a6. Usually black continues with rook b8 and b5. Or, you know, there are some other variations like c6. This is quite interesting too, because he's blockading this diagonal, and he's trying to play with queen a5 and queen h5. Otherwise, you know, the Granfeld system again, which is an option, he has to play c6 and d5 here. When he plays d6, I don't think he's gonna play d5 later, because he's wasting a tempo. So here, knight b to d7, and I played knight to c3. Black plays e5, and here I played h3. I know that in this position white has, you know, two main options. One of them it's playing h3, which is what I played, and e4 too. You know, e4, it's definitely possible. However, by this time, you know, by the time I played this game, I didn't want to blockade my, you know, bishop's g2 diagonal, and nowadays I still play h3 because, you know, I can play e4 later, depending on the situation, And what is more, h3, it's a move that white has to play. I mean, I'm gonna play h3 sooner or later, because here I'm, guarding the c4 square, and this is useful for us, In the future, he's gonna try playing knight to e5 and knight c4. We are also stopping things like bishop c4. So, just in case we have the h2 square for our king. So, it's a useful move. Black plays rook to e8. We have to mention here that black can't play e4. If he does, then we play knight to c5, and as you can see, we have a lot of pieces attacking the e4 pawn, and there's no way black can, protect this pawn successfully. So he plays rook to e8, and now I played e4. As you can see, it's not the same now. I mean, e4 it's stronger here, because when he takes, knight takes, now he can't consider things like knight c4. Because I take with the pawn, my knight on d4, it's protected. Before I played h3, imagine, my pawn, it's on h2. If I take with the queen, then the bishop it's also taking my knight on d4. So when I play e4 here, I'm winning some space, and when black takes, the e4 pawn it's protected by bishop c2 also, after knight takes d4. Now, what I like about this line for white is the fact that I always have more space. Black, he's gonna have some counterplay, of course, and he'll find some activity, but what is sure is, we are gonna have more space, and that's an advantage. Black decides to play with a6, and I think this reminds me a bit of the Pano variation, where black tries to get the rook out of this diagonal, and then he tries to get some initiative at queenside. So a6, it's supporting b5, and I think he should continue with a move like rook b8. If he plays c6 here, this is stopping our bishop, but the problem is the d6 pawn, it's quite weak, and we can try putting a lot of pressure in this pawn. In the future we can play bishop e3, we can move our queen probably to c2 or d2, and then rook a d1. In the long run, we are getting more space as white. And another move we can also consider here is, we can try playing with f4. So as I said, in this line we have a lot of chances to attack and to win space as white. We'll see that black finds a way to create counterplay here and win space at queenside. He plays a6, and well, when I played this game I wasn't aware of theory, so starting from this position I try to play according to logic, and I realized that rook to e1 it's okay, just in case, giving extra support to my e4 pawn. And he plays rook to b8. Right here rook b8 doesn't look like a serious threat. I mean, I don't see any threat yet. in fact, I don't think he's gonna push b5 right here. I'm gonna just give, an example. If king h2, b5, it's not working because I play knight c6, and then I get his queen. But I guess he's trying to push my knight back, from d4 first, something like c5, and when I move my knight, then he can try pushing b5. So this is what, black wants to play when he plays rook b8. He's trying to play c5 followed by b5. So here I played b3. I guess, yeah, this is a solid move. Nowadays, I would probably play rook b1 first. Because, again, he's trying to play c5 and b5. And, he's got a bishop on this diagonal. Would be a nice way of stopping his threats, just in case I get my rook out of the h8 a1 diagonal. Black, he played the same way when he played rook b8. He's getting out of this diagonal. We can try doing the same thing too by playing rook to b1. But b3 it's quite solid. He plays c5, and here the key move it's knight c2, of course. As this diagonal it's been open. We have to at least defend the rook on a1. I mean, if he takes, for instance, then we can just play knight takes, and here we are winning material. We are lucky our rook on a1 it's being protected, so yeah, I think here there's no sense for black in playing this. So yeah, after b3 he plays b5, and I decided to take on d6. Yeah, here, unless we see, stronger alternative, I think we have to take on d6. I know it looks risky, but what else can we play, right? He played c5, he played b5 next. He's got a lot of threats in this position, and when I saw these moves, I said, okay, I'm gonna take the d6 pawn and see what happens. My position it's solid, after all. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna lose, material here. And queen d6, as I said, I'm getting a pawn. I want to see, the tactic here. He plays rook to b6. Unless he's got something big on this diagonal, I don't think white is losing. I mean, when you see a move like queen takes d6, you realize it's risky, but as I didn't see anything, serious, I played it. I mean, if knight takes, then I can play knight takes, bishop takes, knight takes again, and I have a big material advantage. Not to mention, I also have the bishop pair, so he played rook b6, and black, he's not trying to get material, he wants to get initiative, and I played queen d2. And I think queen d2 it's fine. Playing queen d1 it's too passive, When I play queen d2, I'm blocking my bishop, but I'm also, supporting this knight on c3. So, I wanted to stop, some tactics. I was unfamiliar with this position, so I thought that, queen d2 should be safe. And here he plays b4, attacking my knight, but b4 it's also closing queenside a bit, so I like this. If he played something like, let us say, bishop to b7, I'm up a pawn here as white already. I would play something like bishop b2, now trying to finish my development and play with my extra pawn. If he takes on c4, of course we can't take on c4 yet, but we can play knight to a4, and this in-between move, it's giving us an advantage, I think, defending the bishop, attacking the rook. We can probably continue with e5. As you can see, all his pieces are hanging, and suddenly our position, especially our pieces, they have, a big coordination. So, yeah, this would be, a nice variation for white. Of course, this happens after bishop b7, but he played b4. Well, the good thing is, after b4, white, he's gonna get an advantage, and my moves, they are not hard to see. I mean, knight to a4, okay, it's probably the best move, but it's like the only move too. If I play knight to d5, I'm gonna just lose an exchange. After knight takes d5, oh sorry, I'm gonna close this. Okay, there we go. After knight takes d5 and bishop takes a1, I'm gonna lose this exchange. So this is not making any sense. Knight to a4, rook b to e6, and here we see, he's got a lot of threats. So I played e5. This move I saw before playing knight to a4, and I guess it's the only move I can try playing, I mean, otherwise, I don't see any good move for white to stop all these threats, He's got a big advantage development-wise. And he's attacking the e4 pawn. So let us see, e5, and here he plays queen to e7. He's still putting pressure on the e-file. If he takes, knight takes e5, I can just trade queens, and here after knight takes c5, I got a pawn. We traded queens off, so he's not gonna have any serious attack. Usually to attack you need queens on. I mean here, extra pawn, no queens, should be easy for white. And well, probably taking here it's an option. I guess we can just take. And here, well, probably I'm calculating here. I guess we can just finish our development, and the thing is, we have a nice position, especially because the c5 and b4 pawns, they are quite weak. Material-wise, it's gonna be equal, but our pieces are stronger than black's, so, I don't mind playing this position either. When he plays in this gambit style, he wants to have an active position, not a worse endgame. But I think e5, it's stopping his threats. Queen e7, and here I played bishop b2, which is a solid variation, I think. I could have played f4 actually. I mean, when you analyze this with that computer, you'll see that f4, it's great looking too, because we are defending this in a lot of variations. The rook on e6, it's gonna get trapped in the middle of the board. But one thing is analyzing with that computer, and it's different when you play in a real game. In fact, I think f4 it's quite risky, because black, he can easily try sacrificing a piece here. This is just an example. We probably have more variations than this one, but you know, I don't think white is interested in playing this. He's getting too many pawns, a lot of, you know, nice variations for black. I mean, if we take bishop takes, you know, sometimes initiative it's more important than material, so that is why I don't like this. And when I saw bishop b2, I realized that, you know, he's gonna get his pawn back, but I saw a move which is winning a pawn for white after this. Then, well, queen c7 looks like the only move. And here black has an endgame with the bishop pair. Looks like, you know, he's at least equal, and usually when you have the bishop pair, you're better. But I saw queen e3 when I played bishop b2, and of course I'm winning a pawn here. So that is why I think this is like a good way of, you know, playing against this gambit, and with the extra pawn I should be able to win. We have to admit that, you know, after this black played, you know, he had a good, he played strong, and I wasn't able to win this. He found some resources. Queen d8, knight takes, and well, before it's also hanging, so he has to play a5. King to h2 I played. I was still a bit, you know, tight at this point. Probably I have a better move here. I mean, king h2, it's still guarding this too, you know. I can try playing bishop d5 now or something like that. I just wanted to protect h3. He plays h5, queen d3. Well, if I trade queens, should be easier. So he plays queen c7, knight to e4, h4. Makes a lot of sense for black to open that position. He's got the bishop pair. Knight takes, knight to e3, takes, bishop to e5, knight to d5. I think here my knights are quite powerful. This is compensating, you know, the bishop pair. And in fact, after queen d8, here I made a big mistake. I played queen e3 here. When I play queen e3, I know I have some big threats, you know. I can probably try some knight discovered, but the thing is, I completely missed this move here. Queens are like facing each other. I can play knight takes b4. I'm winning a pawn, second pawn, and the queens are under attack. If he moves the queen, I'll move my knight back to d5, and then I think it's an easy win, because I have two passers at queenside, and if he takes the queen, well, then my knight runs away too. And here, two extra pawns for white, two passers, should be a win. I have to admit, I didn't see this. Knight takes b4, and I played queen e3. Sometimes you can't play it too safe, you know. I can tell that from experience. Being aggressive pays off. Queen e3, then knight to g7. Suddenly, you know, it's like, I think I'm still better here, but, you know, it's not easy at all. I played knight g5. He plays bishop d6. Well, we were repeating moves for a while here. And my queen b6 here, it's probably not good. I know trading queens off, it's favoring me, but his bishop pair, it's gonna be pretty strong, as you'll see in this game. I should have some improvement here. However, it's not clear. I had my chance before with knight takes before. Now, it's like my advantage is, my pawn, my extra pawn, but here, I don't think I can win anymore. Well, I can try, but his bishops are too strong. And, it's not easy to activate my king either, because his knight is too powerful. I had to be defending these two guys here. And I think I played this. Probably today I wouldn't play this way, or, well, I don't know, but, I love the bishop pair, and here I'm getting rid of my remaining bishop. I mean, probably when I played this, I saw I was getting another pawn. Indeed, I think I'm getting the a5 pawn, or I can try playing knight to d7 check, but this bishop d4, it's too powerful. This, the pair of bishops, it's gonna dominate my knight pair. As you can see, I took the a5 pawn, but my knights are like, trapped at queenside. Whereas my king, it's too lonely there. Now I can't move my knights. That is why, I always tell the bishop pair it's too powerful. You don't have to underestimate the bishop pair. Here, he's down 2 pawns, and anyway, he's got, you'll see he has a nice attack. I played c5 here because I want to, activate my knight again. He plays bishop to e1. Yeah, I can't defend the a2 pawn. I play king c2, bishop takes, king f3. I can't, activate my king anymore. In fact, I'll have to be careful because, I can't fight against the bishop pair with the king. I play c4, probably another mistake, because after c5, here I realized that, I had to play carefully if I wanted to hold this position. He's blocking, my pawns, and, as you can see after a few moves, as white we have the risk of getting mated too, So I decided to get rid of my h pawn as soon as possible. He plays this, king h3. We see the mate here, almost. He plays bishop d3. And, well, if he plays bishop f1 here, I'll play king h4. So everything is under control. F takes, king to c2, bishop e2, and here we are trading a lot of pieces off. After knight b6, bishop takes, knight d5 check, king here. I played knight to c6. Well, if I play this, I think it's drawish too, He can try playing, for instance, well, this should be okay. Or bishop c3. He can try everything off, and then he takes the b3 pawn, or if he uses the king too, Knight c6 looks better, but he finds this bishop c3, and here, there's no chance to win this. He's getting my pawn. I can play this, for instance, but, as you know, this is drawish. I can't win with the pawn. So here, after bishop c3, yeah, when we see bishop e6 here, then it was drawish. So, well, this is an old game, but definitely it's nice to see this, especially because, you know, Magnus nowadays, he's the best in the world, in my opinion. And well, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in future videos.